Hello folks, here I have finally installed my OEM full LED taillights on my 24 Ford F-350 Superduty King Ranch. They should have came standard from the factory, and they were originally advertised as them being standard, but Ford decided to take the cheap route on using the commodity issue as an excuse. I don't want to get into that topic. I'll get political on that one. But anyways, that's besides the point. Here are the standard incandescent taillights that they put in them. I don't understand why they did it in the first place. We all know why, because they're trying to save money. Here's passenger side, and here is the driver's side. And this is before, now after. Here's how it looks on the truck. Here's the passenger side on the truck. And here's the driver's side on the truck. I feel much better about this mod. It took me hours of testing, messing around with it, but to me it was worth it. So I'm going to do some quick testing. So I want to show you, make sure the backup lights do work. Now I put in reverse. Reverse lights do work. And it also, the scale part of it, the onboard scales part of it does work well, as well as the ambient lighting that you can adjust on that you can turn on from your phone, from your Ford Pass, or you can turn it on through your settings on your screen. Those work. Let me put it in park. I got one of these pedal depressors. I do a lot of work on my own. So it basically hooks around the steering wheel like this, and it cranks like a caulk gun. Oh, sorry. And pushes down on it. And here are the brake lights, nice and bright. It looks very sweet. And here are the hazard flashers. So I'm not going to do, left turn, right turn. This is the quickest way to test them. So if they don't work individually, you'll know right away. So hazard flashes do work. As you can tell, they have a different separate filament for it instead of being on the outer LED part of it. So pretty cool. Let me shut this truck off. So here's what I did on getting this mod done. So first off, this is the part number that they gave me for the wiring harness from the dealership. I went on FordPartsOnline.com, or you can use any other Ford parts site. You can get them much cheaper than the dealer. So the part number that they gave me is PC3T-13A409-BCD. So my truck does have the onboard scales, so that's standard anyways. But it does matter if you have the Pro Power. These are your Pro Power wires right here, these two right here. So if your truck doesn't have that, that does matter. If it does have it, it also does matter. What I had to do was, here is the main, these two plugs right here are your main wire harness plugs into the truck side. So this is most likely for the bliss right here, the smaller one on the left hand side. That's for the bliss, because I can tell by the gauge of the wire. There might be some, light harnesses in too, but I could be wrong. But anyways, this is the main plug right here. So on the 2023s and before, they had two lights. I'm sorry, two wires for the running lights. That was a problem I was having. So turns out when I bought this harness, I got a VIN number from a 24, and this is what they gave me. So I did some further research, and turns out this is a 2023 harness. So I had to make do with it because this is an electrical part. I can't return it for any reason. So I just made do with what I got. So what I did was, I went underneath the truck when I was doing my Forscan changes. I couldn't get the passenger side running lights to work. So I tried making some other changes to get them to work. They still won't come on. So I went underneath the truck and lined this plug up to the pins of the truck. So I figured out, I probed it with my voltmeter, and I figured out which ones are the running lights on each side. So these two wires right here, the two blue ones. So one is a blue with green stripe, which is the passenger side one. That wire is not there for the 2024s. So there's only one running light wire on the 24s, and most likely on the 25s as well. The other blue wire is a blue and brown stripe. So the plug on the truck side was capped off. There was nothing there. So what I did was, I just cut the blue and green wire. I just literally cut it. Leave the wire, from the plug side, tape it off. You're not using that side of the wire. You want to use the harness side going into the loom. Use this side of the wire after you cut it, and you can either use quick splice connectors, which is what I use. So I just took this side and spliced it into here. So most likely that's probably what they did with the new wire harness. So I'm thinking, my speculation is they took the running lights. This is the driver's side right here. It's the driver's side. And this is this is the passenger side right here. So they probably took two running light wires, and where it comes together as this wire right here, they probably hooked them together. Most likely. That's most likely what they did. So again, I went ahead and took the green wire. I quick spliced it into the blue and brown wire. And I got running lights for the passenger side. So this is much easier than trying to take a long wire from the taillight plug side and run it down to your the license plate lights. It's stupid in my opinion. So I use quick splice connectors. I put some dielectric grease in them to keep the corrosion out of it. And you can use whatever you want to use. You can use heat shrink. But the reason why I didn't use heat shrink, because I don't like cutting other wires if I don't have to. So I figured there was no point in me cutting the blue and brown wire. So I rather just, I figure less cuts that you have, the less problems you could have in the long run. So once you make your connections here, you just get some electrical tape. What I did was I just taped up the quick splice connector on its own. Then I went ahead and taped up the whole bundle of wires here up to the plug like it was from the factory. Tape the hell out of it. Make sure when you make the connections, make sure it's crimped on there really good. Double check it. make sure it's crimped on it really good. Double check it and jiggle it. Make sure there's no shorts or anything like that. So those quick splice connectors do have a reputation of not being too reliable. So I can't stress that enough. I did also have to modify. This is the passenger side plug right here. These plugs are for your bed lights. So the plugs on your truck, on the 24s and newer, have a smaller plug. So for some reason I couldn't repin it because the pins are different. The pin design is different. So I just, since there are only 2 wires, I just went ahead and cut it. And I put some weatherproof butt connectors there. And I use a heat gun to shrink them together and tape them up really good, just like I did here, and made it look as factory as I could. So this is the passenger side. So again, you got to use your original plug from your old harness. So cut that off and splice it here. On the driver's side, this is the main harness for your bed lights. 2 wires are going to the lights and 2 wires are going to the switch on the driver's side of the bed. This side you can actually repin. So you can repin it, or you can splice it, whatever you want to do. So basically all the colors are going to be the same, match up color for color, yada yada yada. If you want to repin it, you can go buy a pin removal tool on Amazon for pretty cheap. And yeah, or if you have no patience of doing that, you can just cut it and quick splice it with some weatherproof connectors and crimp it, put some heat on them, tape them up. They'd be good for the life of the truck. So I did have to modify the 2 plugs for the bed lights, but all the other plugs do plug in like they should. So that's that. So here are the notes that I made on wiring them up. So passenger side is blue and light green stripe, and driver side is blue with a brown stripe. And I'm basically telling you with the how to connect them. Self-explanatory. If you're good at wiring, it's not hard to do. I did have to. I did this testing while the lights are. I didn't install the lights yet, so I did the testing and changes through my Forscan. If I did all that, once I got everything together, and so basically just take your tail lights out, take your old tail lights out, two 8mm bolts on each side, and get your spare tire tools from underneath the seat and drop your spare tire down so you can pull the wire harness out. Makes it a lot easier. So it's impossible to do it with the spare tire up. So pull the wire harness out, get like one of those tools that you can pull out pins, like door panels. That makes it a little bit easier. So if you want to just yank it, rip them out of the holes, retaining holes. It doesn't matter because you put a new harness in there anyways. So other than that, put the new one in it, put the new harness in it, plug everything in, push new taillights on, and they should work. However, I did have to make some changes through Forscan. So here it is right here. So you make changes through your BCM if you know how to use Forscan. It's pretty easy for you. If you need to know, if you don't know how to use it, it'll give you a better tutorial on how to use it on the forums. Just do some research on the 4 forums, and you can go buy a cable for it. The cable is not too expensive. Makes you have a laptop computer, and that's that. So when you make these changes, make sure you back up the original values, because If you don't, then you can make certain modules act weird. You might get some flickering in your lights. Certain stuff might not, other stuff might not work. So anyways, here are the changes that I made. So 726, 3702. So here are the X's are your original values that you currently have. I changed this to 4. The original is 3. And 726, 4301. X's are original values. I changed these two to 1s. Original is 4. So these two numbers will be 4s. And 726, 4302. I changed this number here to 2. The original is 0. And last but not least, 726, 4401. I changed this to 0. The original is 1. I changed this to 0 as well. Original is 1. And changed this to 2. Original is 4. And they should work great. I'm not responsible for you if you make the wrong mistake on Forscan. So please do this stuff at your own risk. And also rewiring your truck, as far as that goes, you do that at your own risk too. Or really the whole job. So if something does happen, I am not responsible for any mistakes that you make. So I'm putting this out as a full disclaimer. So yeah, if you're comfortable with it, it's easy for you. If you're not comfortable in doing stuff like this, take it to an authorized repair facility or find someone that you know very well that can help you out. So, but other than that, once you get the taillights in there, put 8mm bolts back on each side, plug it in, they should work. Crank your spare tire back up, everything's reverse removal. So, so I make sure I ain't leaving other information. Oh, by the way, your bliss modules, as far as that's concerned, when you buy new taillights, you have to, they might come with bliss modules, like in my situation, mine did, but the bliss modules are not plug and play. They're programmed to your vehicle, to your truck. So it gave a check bliss error on your instrument cluster because it's not calibrated. So if there's nothing wrong with your bliss modules, which is most likely not, in order to take them out, there are four torque screws here, and this whole bracket comes out, and you'll see the bliss modules. Maybe like this. It might be maybe this big, this wide, and pop them out of this tab, and unplug it. Put your original one in there, and do the same thing for the other tail lights. Swap those over. Install your tail lights on your truck. You will have no bliss module errors on your instrument cluster. Or most of the time when they sell these tail lights, especially when they sell them used from like a junkyard, that they'll take the bliss modules out of them. So you have to swap your original bliss modules in there anyway. So unless you get, the only way you change your bliss modules if you bust the whole tail light to the point that where the bliss module is damaged inside of it. So that's when you're forced to replace it. But other than that, if there's nothing wrong with it, to swap it over, your bliss system will work as designed. So any other questions, comments, feel free to, send it in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe as well. So hope you enjoyed this video, and enjoy your new tail lights, and you guys have a great day.